Bambi, keep running. Don't let him get to you. Bambi II, also known as Bambi and the Great Prince of the Forest, is a 2006 animated film produced by the DisneyToon Studios in Sydney, Australia. They're back. So it's a sequel to the 1942 movie Bambi. It was released 64 years after the original film, which I'm pretty sure makes this like the longest in-between sequel to a movie in like history. So congrats on that.
The original Bambi is the inspiration for our film.
Welcome to my 21st, we're in the home stretch now, guys, Disney direct to DVD, VHS, DVD sequel movie review. Since it's been over 6 decades, believe it or not, the original cast did not return because, well, they're dead.
It was very intimidating in the beginning to start working on that, and the only way I could see doing it is to be as true as we possibly could to it.
But you know what? We do have at least Patrick Stewart as Bambi's dad. And believe it or not, he was alive when the original came out, so I guess there's that. It does retain the same art style as the original film, and I think it looks pretty good. It's regarded as some of the best Disney direct-to-video sequel animation, characters and voice acting. It did sell over 2.6 million DVDs. I do have the D of one of those 2.6 in the first week of its sales in the States. And I'm gonna tell you what, this is a DVD. This is one of those films that's kind of structured similar to the Tarzan 2 sequel that I did a couple of weeks ago, where the story technically takes place in the middle of the movie when he's still a child. It takes place right after his mom died, so just be prepared for that. But I do have some bad news. This is the final VHS release for the public by the Walt Disney Home Entertainment. So if we can just get a moment of silence for that. Also a moment of silence because this is the final DisneyToon film to be traditionally animated before they kind of just went full on CG. Moment of silence. Other than that, I think that's it for the intro. I'll save the rest of the stuff for the end of the film. So let us begin. All right, open shot. Disney Castle. But this time it has this weird tint to it. Are we in the clouds? No, it's winter, see? Snow falls over this beautiful backdrop of Bambi yelling for his mom. Yep, we open up. First thing you see is right after Bambi's mom died. They did reuse the same voice from the first movie, like the voice of the narrator, the dad. I don't really know.
Your mother can't be with you anymore.
Instead of using Patrick Stewart, who is now playing Bambi's dad, which I think he's a good cast for him.
I can't define it because I'm not an artist. I can't draw anything.
I just thought that was an interesting detail. But Bambi's father has found him right after the film. He's telling him she's out of here, you know? What an opening. Immediately, there's just like this opening dialogue from Mr. Owl from the first movie. I don't know. I watched the first movie the other day, and there's barely any dialogue. And this movie, it just has dialogue out the wazoo. I mean, like, just this conversation alone is, I feel like, is just more than the whole movie combined. Regardless, Father Sir Patrick Stewart tells Mr. Owl to look for a new mother to raise Bambi, but since it's winter, he can't really do much, so Father Stewart agrees to take care of him until springtime. So just be ready for that. Walt Disney Pictures presents Bambi II. This fucking snow is taking me out. Immediately, the very first song just took me out of it. So This Is Life. It's an original song for this film. I don't know, just someone singing very modernly over to a sequel 64 years apart is just so jarring to me, because like the first movie did have some singing songs, like, you know, let's sing a gay little spring song, but I don't know how to explain it, but it just fits better in those films. I don't know if it's just the old-timey sound of it, but it's just like, just listen to this.
After the rain, the sun will reappear. There is light.
Maybe I'm tripping. Regardless, though, the animation is still pretty. I'll give them that. So after the song ends, we get old Bambi waking up, running into his father. Also, did you know that the voice actor for Bambi is the same one as Nemo? Fucking Nemo?
Alexander Gould is an amazingly talented young man who also did the voice of Nemo for Finding Nemo.
And I don't have to have people going, when they see me on the streets going, Alexander, I want your autograph. Give me your autograph. You know?
Anyways, Patrick Stewart lectures him, telling him how to be a good prince, you know, looks for some food for him. He's disgusted, but he eats it anyways.
But Bambi, a prince does not woo who.
Which that line is now going to live rent-free in my mind. He's showing him how to walk, how to talk. The water is cold. They get to the top of this hill or mountain or something, and the camera does this like zoom in and out thing for like emphasis.
Whoa.
I don't know, nitpick, but I hated that. I guess it just felt very modern. So they overlook the other deers, and Bambi's looking at him. He just wants to play with him and starts rambling about his mom, and his dad goes,
I think it's best to leave the past in the past.
He's not a very fun dad. So as they're just kind of walking away, Bambi gets slowed down in the snow, shakes it off to find Thumper just holding on to him. One, how? And two, the odds of him just randomly hiding in the snow and Bambi walking over him. Just, I don't know, how long has Thumper been in that snow? Well, we soon have come to find out that he's actually hiding from his sisters and his mom, who's just kind of just right behind him, thumping away.
A family that plays together stays together.
So Patrick Stewart calls for Bambi.
But you can't go. You can't leave me with the girls. Come on. I've seen Bambi 1.
So as they are leaving, Sir Stewart tells Bambi, hey, you know what? How about you go with your friend Thumper to go see the groundhog while he goes and does some side quest or something. He'll meet him later. He rejoins old Thumpy, and they just run into my favorite character from the first movie, fucking Flower the skunk, who still has one of my favorite lines in all of Bambi.
He's a little... Oh, that's all right. He can call me a flower if he wants to. I don't mind.
He's sleeping, and he just wants to sleep, but they drag his ass out to see the groundhog. So right after they are with the owl, I don't know, it's like a little show here we got waiting for watching the groundhog to emerge from his slumber hole. But he's shy because he doesn't want to see his shadow. So isn't he supposed to be wise? Kids are having a laugh. Bambi turns his head, looks at his lover from the first movie, Feline, which I think that's a good name. Then Thumper, of course, cock blocks them a little bit. Then Groundhog Boy emerges from his hole, shadow and all. He's saying some crazy shit like how the shadow determines how long winter will last. I don't know, animals are dumb. So, but a cloud flies over them, and now there's no shadow. So spring's here, just like that. So then everyone leaves. Then this random deer just kind of comes out of nowhere. Feline hits them with a...
Who are you?
So this is Rono.
And these are the boys. Stab and jab. Ugh.
So a little bit about Rono. This is the same deer from the first movie that fights Bambi to the death at the end of that film. Even though it's not really confirmed that he died, but he did fall into some water at the end of that scene. So let's just assume that he died. So because he didn't have any dialogue in the first movie, we don't really know his intentions on why he wants to fight him. So I guess this movie explains that. And well, let's just say that Mr. Ronnie also had a crush on Feline. Let's see this origin story. Anyway, back to the movie. So they leave him anyways. He says, don't go that way because man is there. Then he goes on a dialogue about how he took out one of the men with the antlers that he don't exist on him. That's unbelievable.
You call me a liar? No.
Then he hits him back with a
Bambi? Isn't that a girl's name?
roasted. I don't know. Ronnie is just kind of mean. He's just bad for no reason because plot.
Don't forget the gigantic forehead, to add that baby formula.
So he threatens Bambi with some friendly competition, but look, his mom calls him.
Don't bother me when I'm trying to make new friends.
He's just really mean for no reason. A little bit of a scene here. So after everyone kind of departs, they kind of go to their mothers, except Bambi because she's dead. So just a little stab there for poor old Bambi to just hammer that in. So basically Bambi just kind of sits in his little cave waiting for his dad, Patrick Stewart, to show up to, I don't know. So he has a dream during that wait where he ate a butterfly, and then he runs into his mom in the this dream is strangely important. And then he runs into his mom in the distance. Just heavenly, really beautiful scene here too. Too bad it's the last hand-drawn one. So she confronts him, tells him that she's always been there, even when he can't see her. Then he wakes up and he still hears her calling out for him. So he follows this voice through the forest, and then he runs into dogs, wolves. Also, before we continue, this is the same spot from the first movie where the infamous scene took place with his mom dying. So then, like, as these dogs are coming to him, he's kind of staring at them like a deer in the headlights. that was not intentional. Conveniently, Sir Patrick Stewart Fawn comes in, beats the hell out of them, and they run away while a gunshot similar to the original rings in the background. So he kind of explains to Bambi after they get away that the voice he was hearing is one of man's tricks to lure deers, which I don't know. I don't know much about hunters, but do they have like a whistle that sounds like deers? Is that what Bambi was hearing? I assume so. It's not explained, but he could have died. So thank God. Now it's sad time again. His mom is never coming back. Winter is slowly coming to an end, which means it's almost time to find a new home for our boy. So the next scene, the sister rabbits are looking for Thumpy and Flower that are hiding in a log. They run into Bambi. He's sad because he's not brave like the great Prince Stuart. So they're gonna teach him how. So Flower has found his inner strength. I don't know, this goes on for a little bit as they walk around, just kind of gurring at random animals and the fauna. Some great training here, if you ask me. Some great visuals too, which, if you ask me. This goes on until they run into Mr. Porcupine, who just kind of scares them away. Then Papa shows up. This is a great opportunity to show off the training that he's done to his father against this porcupine. So he's struggling to get past Mr. Porcupine. Thumper brings Daddy over. He jumps and gets his ass poked. Regardless, Dad didn't even see what happened anyways.
I'm not gonna lie to ya, it ain't pretty.
So as they're kind of picking the thorns out of Bambi's ass, Ronnie is just right next to them, just kind of trying to impress Feline. She hears Bambi, I guess, yelling in the distance because his ass is in pain. Goes to check on him. Ronnie, of course, follows, just kind of insults him some more. And Bambi, of course, will this time stand up for himself.
No, quit it! Leave her alone!
Yeah, look at him go. A chase is on. So as he's running, chasing him, Bambi jumps over this, like, I don't know, 5-foot gap. It looks like a 5-foot gap. I'm sure it's probably like 40. That Ronnie can't jump.
You big baby. Whoa.
Turns out Prince Stuart was actually impressed that Bambi has made that jump.
I didn't make a jump like that until I had antlers.
He's never said anything nice to him before. So this caught him off guard. But Ronnie thinks he's fucking better than Bambi, so he attempts to make the jump, lands in the mud. So it's time to go home. So the next morning, as Bambi is
Jump further than this yesterday.
with Thumper, Mr. Owl comes to tell Daddy-O that he's found many compatible mother deers. And so after that takes place, Bambi goes over to ask his dad a bunch of questions because parents just love those. So he starts asking questions.
What are you doing?
Observing.
Off to a great start here. So he's teaching him things here about how he can feel things in his hooves and the forest, and a lot of feelings are just kind of going on here.
Forest.
Bambi!
Feel the felt it.
And then after that we get Song 2. It's called Another Sight of Spring, which also doesn't fit the movie, but it fits a bit better than the first one, but we're being very lenient here. This song kind of made me sleep a little bit. Not much happens. It's just some father-son bonding time together. They are very happy. I'm sorry, I'm nitpicking at this point. It's just that knowing that this movie takes place in the middle of the first one and seeing all this kind of like energetic contrast in writing, and then knowing that the rest of the original movie is supposed to take place after this is just very jarring to me, to say the least. After the song ends, it's time for bed. So Bambi, of course, is asking questions until Sir Stuart says,
That's enough questions for today.
So the next morning, they kind of bond some more. Mr. Owl ruins the fun. He introduces a new mom named Mina. So apparently Mina here has also grown up with Bambi's mom. During this conversation, Bambi finds out that he has to move away from Patrick Stewart. And then of course, he throws a tantrum. Later that night, he's saying goodbye to his friends. Thumper gives him some words of wisdom.
Just be scarier than whatever's scaring you.
Father comes in to take him away. So he goes with Mama Mina. He runs back to hug Sir Stewart. If you ask me, I think it's pretty emotional here with the music. So the next scene, he's walking with Mama Mina. Then when they're walking, I just kind of found this scene here just really pretty. So shout out to the Australians here putting in the work.
They're beautiful. The backgrounds are my favorite.
And they're painted by hand. Believe me, there's somebody that sat there and they painted it stroke for stroke.
Shame Toon Disney would close a few years later because of John Lasseter. Anyways, as they're walking, Ronnie shows up just to bully him.
It's gotta be hard to have a father that's so ashamed of you.
So a fight begins between the two of them. It's very similar to the fight they had in the first movie where they're kind of grown with the way the lighting is on them. It's a very parallel kind of fight. While they're fighting, Mama Mina gets caught on a man trap. And we hear the dogs kind of barking in the distance. Uh-oh, this can't be good. Tells them to all to run away. Mommy! Of course, Bambi's dumbass just stares like a deer in the headlights again. And then he comes to his senses eventually and he starts to run away. But as he's running away, Mama Mina starts yelling like, keep running, Bambi, don't look back. Basically the same words that his mom told him in the first movie before she got shot. And so as he's doing that, he stops, right? And he turns around, he's like, you know what? I can't let this happen again, which, you know what, is a really good growth moment if you ask me. I think that's very, very good. That's probably the best part of the movie. So he decides to turn around to go distract the dogs. Sir Stewart just comes out of nowhere to free Mama Mina. And then he goes after Bambi. So Thumper and Flower see what's happening and they kind of want to put on their brave face to help.
Make the bravest face you ever made in your whole life. Grrr!
So Bambi uses the porcupine from earlier to stab another dog in its ass. Now there's two left.
You trespassing hooligans? Yes, I'm doing the voice of the porcupine.
Again, another beautiful backdrop later during the chase. So they climb a rock. One of them slips and he falls. He gone. Now there's just one left. So this next scene, I'm just going to let it play out for itself. A hero. He runs back to his dad. He's dead. Sir Stewart sheds some tears on him. And then Bambi says,
Dad.
What, are you not surprised? What were you expecting? These sequel movies all play out the same. This shit happened 2 weeks ago when I covered Stitch 2. Same shit. So the next scene, we're kind of wrapping up. The kids are telling stories about what just happened. Bambi walks in, you know, he's got some antlers growing in. Twitter pated. He runs back to his daddy-o and just, wow, look at this shot. They don't really make them like they used to. So this is the place where Sir Stewart met Bambi's mother when they were young. A song, of course, plays to end it off. It's that stupid There Is Life song from the beginning. But as we pan up above them and a butterfly transition to a log and then a fade to another butterfly on a vine and then a fade to black. And that's Bambi 2. The credits, again, don't fit. It's called Through Your Eyes. It's just generic singing. There's a second credit song after this one ends that I also didn't like. Because imagine, I don't know, I just thought about this. Imagine watching this movie chronologically, right? Starting with the first movie and then stopping during the scene after his mom died and he meets his dad. And then finishing this movie and then going back to finish the first movie. I don't know who does that, but I feel like that's how it's meant to be watched. It ends with the DisneyToon Studio animation logo. Never fails to impress me. I mean, overall, I like this movie. I feel like there's a deeper message hidden behind it. Again, I don't know why they felt the necessity to make a movie 64 years after the original. You know, because for the most part, the movie did receive positive reviews. You know, it was better received than most of the other sequels. It's not bad. I think the animation's great. The voice actors, for the most part, were good. Of course, Sir Patrick was the best, the king.
It's very gratifying in one's 60s to find oneself part of this extraordinary legend.
Bambi's voice actor was nice. Shout out to Nemo.
Now I can tell my kids, like, I'm Bambi. I was Bambi. I mean, not the original Bambi, but I was Bambi.
So it's a pass on my part. You know, it's a pass. The DVD has some behind the scenes called The Legacy Continues, which is what I've been clipping in and out this whole video. It has some DVD games, you know, like Thumpy's Hurry and Scurry, which is just kind of hide and seek. He's looking for his sisters, which is a very small detail I noticed, is that in the original Bambi, Thumper had 5 sisters, but in the sequel, he has 4 sisters. Don't ask, which kind of made me think, it's not explained, so I'm just gonna assume that one of these siblings got eaten in between the movies. There's also this thing called the Disney Sketchpad, which is just learning how to draw Thumper. You're not learning how to draw flowers, so I'm not interested in it. And another thing called Bambi's Trivia Tracks, which, believe it or not, it's just trivia that plays while the movie's going on, which I should have watched it too, because I feel like I would have gotten some more information, but you know what? I don't have the time for that. The soundtrack, of course, was released by the Walt Disney Records in the US on February 7, 2006. It's produced by this guy named Matt Walker. The CD includes 9 songs from the film, as well as 3 tracks from the original film. Don't forget to register your DVD. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for joining me. I don't want to talk anymore, so join me next time where I cover the next Disney direct to DVD, not VHS, DVD, VHS, not VHS, sequel movie review, Brother Bear 2. I don't know shit about this movie.